When I was 18, I went to the university and felt an emptiness and a frustration. Where is this going to get me? And I dropped out after a semester, and I stuck my thumb out in the middle of a blizzard. I was brought to Arizona through hitchhiking, and I was met spontaneously by a young man where I was dropped off, and he said, "Do you need a place to stay?" I said, "Yes, please." And he took me to a yoga center that was being developed, a meditation center. And the people welcomed me, and I thought, these people are crazy. They're hugging, they're making like they're great friends. But I couldn't leave. And very quickly they started me in a process of meditation on the third eye. I'd never meditated before, I'd never believed in anything like this before, I'd come from a scientific background. And it took about a month, and suddenly something exploded. That's the only way I can describe it. I went from kind of this tight, tense feeling here to something just went kalang. There was so much opening. And in that moment, I saw pictures, so many pictures of myself in other lives, in mystery schools, as a warrior, as this, as that. And I realized how old my soul was. But not only did I see all these pictures, but the knowledge and the information that I'd learned in these mystery schools came back in one rush. It was as if somebody opened the floodgate, and suddenly astrology was there, meditation was there, yoga was there, the esoteric sciences was there. I went in that moment from being a young man kind of seeking to being a fully committed seeker on the path and a teacher, because I realized I'd been teaching and working with people for lives. And from that moment, I started to work with people in that yoga center and began to teach.
When I heard this story from Kabir about how he had been meditating for a month on this center and suddenly something exploded, that's when I also shared with him that, hey, you know, for me, it happened actually very similar. You know, this also opened when I focused on it for 5 days. And that's where we found out that there's something really special about this meditation on the third eye. And it's a very specific meditation. We'll share more about this later. But my story then happened when Kabir and I were together. And I was feeling not happy with myself or with my progress. And I was feeling like, you know, a lot had happened for me. I'd been meditating for many years, but I felt something hadn't anchored. I still feel I would feel great one day and then collapse the other day. I would feel in great meditation and suddenly I didn't want to meditate. Yeah, I felt very unstable in my holding of consciousness. And I decided I need to do something about this. So one day when Kabir was going to go skiing, and I love to go on vacation with him and going together skiing, and yet something in me says, no, stay home. So I said, no, I'm not going. And he was very surprised, but I said, I'm staying home. And I didn't even know why. So when he left, I decided I'm going to sit and start meditating till something happens for me. And I had no idea what would happen, but it was like a deep conviction, like something has to happen for me. So miraculously enough, in a way, so I don't know if it was coincidence, but the moment I sat down, I had a lot of books around me, but I picked one and I opened it up, and there was the enlightenment process from Patanjali, which is 5,000 years old. And I'm like, wow, enlightenment process. I'd never heard of that. So I started reading about it, and it was describing piece by piece how to do it. And I started following it. And it took a while because it's quite a process and it takes a lot of preparation. And I just stuck with it. I barely slept. I kept meditating. I kept following it. And suddenly, something exploded in my head. Well, exploding is maybe it's more like a light went on. It's like a flashlight was turned on, like, phew. And a lot of things happened for me. Suddenly, my whole system started changing. Things started happening. It was such a fascinating process that is too long for me or too complicated right now to share in detail. All I want to say is that suddenly my whole system felt different. I felt my aura changing. I felt like as if a light was holding me up. I felt like really like as if I'd grown. It was incredible. And the greatest confirmation of that was when Kabir came back home. He opened the door and he was like, wow. He was like flabbergasted, just looking at me. He couldn't move. He couldn't. It was amazing. And he said, what happened to you? And I was so surprised that he could just see it, that he could just see that my aura had changed, that my system had changed. And he walked coming to me like this, like in total reverence. I was like, whoa. I mean, that's not typical for him to do that. So that was an incredible confirmation that, you know, what I experienced really had also an outer expression. So that is also the day that something shifted in my life. First, also, it's, you know, our relationship changed. And for me personally, it was an incredible relief to feel that I was holding steady, you know. And it didn't mean that things were not happening in my life. I still would get sometimes upset or, you know, yeah, life happens. But the way I was experiencing everything was different. I was feeling I'm still the soul full of light, full of beauty, with incredible wisdom. You know, while I have also parts that are very earthly bound, that have their own agenda. It was like I was feeling so separate from all the stuff that was going on, and I wasn't falling down anymore. I had the stuff, but it wasn't me. And it, I don't know, there's like a lightness that comes in your life that never goes away.
There's a beautiful expression in inner work. We call it head above water, in that the normal emotions in the mind are constantly turbulent, and they, in a way, they suck us into their dramas of all sorts. And it's one of the biggest benefits as the third eye opens, your consciousness rises above your own drama and above the drama that's going on outside. And in a sense, you become much more both the observer and the watcher, so you can see whatever's happening. At the same time, you're not so caught. And at the same time, we call it the conductor. You begin to be able to really work with your own energies, work with the energies that are coming towards you. It gives you a whole new sense of balance and control and command over your life.
Yeah, I think maybe this is what compelled me to say I need to do something, you know, because before I could feel, you know, Kabir, I felt like you were always holding steady. It doesn't mean that you were a saint, far from. Like we're no. But at the same time, you know, you're always holding steady, you know. For all the years I know you, you sit, you meditate, this energy of awareness, consciousness, and let's say a sense of purpose, you know, never wavered. From the day that I know you, that's maybe 36 years long, I've never seen that waver in you. And that's what's propelled me. And there's like a peace, a deep peacefulness that comes into you when that happens, you know. All kinds of things can keep happening, but that feeling of, you know, knowing then why you're here, yeah, sense of like quiet centeredness deep inside, you know, even if there's storms going on, is for me, I think, what I've been longing for my whole life.
I want to comment on that. We use also another expression, we call it the eye turned upwards, in that normally the awareness process is turned down into our normal lives, our emotions, our mind, and it's very busy. And as the third eye opens, the eye begins to look up to the higher states of consciousness that exist in the crown chakra and above. And you begin to realize just what wondrous beings we really are. That we are so magical, we are so incredible as beings. And though most of us only touch it for moments here and there, that we could call them peak experiences, that is our fundamental nature. And that is the real outcome of inner work, is that you wake up to yourself as this immense being of consciousness, and you begin to live the creativity, the purpose, the vision, the inspiration that is essential to us.
Mm-hmm. So why we're having this conversation at this moment is because we are going to lead a 5-day seminar. And we've been doing these modules for, I think, about 25 years. And we made a deep decision that the way we've been doing them is for us coming to, let's say, a completion of this form. And so in the next module, which will be then our last third eye module, the way we've been doing it. And because of this special moment, we started talking, and we both realized how this process that we both did, separate from each other, without even knowing that that's the process that we had been doing, was so, let's say, influential in awakening us, in getting us into that state of light that we feel shifts our life from, let's say, regular feeling like, you know, unhappy or whatever it is that you're feeling like, hey, my life is on purpose, I'm this beautiful soul, and that never goes away. So to help others to get this, we felt like we want to focus on this process during the coming 5 days.
When I think of the spiritual path and the journey of inner work, if I were to say that there is one master key, it is the awakening of awareness that comes through the third eye. Because once that awakens, you begin to see with such clarity your own inner world, the energy world around, the energies with people, situations. And once you see and you understand, then a whole new set of tools and capacities open on what you can do with what you see. So whether it's a heart issue, a power issue, a relationship issue, a sex issue, doesn't matter. Once you have awareness, you can enter into all of these things with a whole new clarity and therefore a whole new result. So that's why we say awareness is the master key, and that opens through the third eye.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, a lot of awareness also can grow over time, and that is also necessary, and it will never stop. It's a process that's continuing. And at the same time, to have like a major breakthrough happening for you is what we would wish for whoever is longing for this. And that's why then the 5 days in this group energy we feel can support that. So first it's going to need preparation for whoever wants to join, to make sure that your system is prepared. And the second is that because of the group, the energy is so much bigger that it can help catalyze this light in the head for you, which is much easier than if you by yourself. And the third is that Kabir and I will be able to be there and guide you piece by piece through it. So what we are hoping to accomplish through this little video is that you have a taste of what it is that you can get, that you, if you feel like, wow, yes, that's what I want, that you commit yourself to start the preparation for it, and that we then also can give you a few guidelines how to prepare for it. For, let's say we want to start 1 month before the module begins. We are really excited to prepare as many as possible people to get ready so that this incredible happening can happen for them. And for that, we are then giving these 2 exercises for you to do. And the first one that I find is so simple and so powerful. With this finger, we're going to move like this and start relaxing these muscles. Yeah, we go like this. And you breathe deeply with it. You might feel also that it's actually even a little hurting because these muscles are so tight. So it's really strong, a strong movement. Yeah, so it starts from here and it moves upwards. Yeah, and sometimes I also take both hands to somehow massage these muscles. And then you can also rub then your temples. So that means also you're widening your horizon instead of keeping it so narrow. Yeah, so this is, you can imagine you're widening your horizon. Yeah, and sometimes you might feel you might need to do the back of your neck or your head. Yeah, you can add anything that you want to it to make you comfortable and to expand the experience. But I think the most important is that you can feel that something here starts opening, and that the focus that's normally downwards, that you're focusing here, that you bring your focus higher up. So this, instead of thinking that this is your third eye, imagining that it's higher. So focus on a higher point in your meditation. Yeah, deep inside, focus higher up as a preparation. Okay. So if you can do this, this will already start shifting a lot and will get you ready, really what we could call for the Big Bang inside of you. If what we shared with you touched something or creates a longing for this opening and this light, we want to invite you to join us in these 5 days of the third eye.